All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing a spectacular new book that I just discovered, new writer that I just discovered. This is The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman, a book I've been seeing in the bookstores for about 5-6 months now. Finally decided to get it. A few of you have recommended it to me on the channel. It's a King Arthur book. You know, I love King Arthur books. I got a whole collection of King Arthur books, from Mary Stuart to Jack White to Bernard Cornwell to Stephen R. Lawhead to John Steinbeck and Howard Pyle, and just so many people wrote King Arthur books. And now we've got this one by Lev Grossman. Just came out. Now let's talk about the cover first, because I love graphic design and cover illustration. And there's a few things about this book that I like and dislike aesthetically. First of all, I think the cover is pretty cool. It's got a nice wraparound. I love the spine. It's got a lot of cool little things on the inside, like these crests or shields or house banners or whatever. We've got a signed copy. It's a Barnes & Noble exclusive, which comes with a signature by the author. And then on the inside, there's little bits of artwork like that here and there. It's just a very well put together book altogether. Except for Barnes & Noble. When Borders was a bookstore, I used to not buy books at Borders because they put a lot of stickers on the books, and it was hard for me to peel the stickers off. And so when Barnes & Noble went belly up and bankrupt and disappeared, I didn't give up because they did the sticker thing. I was like, they deserved their downfall because of the sticker, I mean, it's almost like they were selling tickets to their own downfall by putting and stickers. Now Barnes & Noble is starting to do it too. When they do these Barnes & Noble exclusive stickers, and they use a glue that is so you just can't peel them off. You cannot peel them off. If you're gonna put the sticker on, at least use a weak ass sticker so we can peel them off. But anyway, that's the only criticism of this book that I'm gonna have, and it's not because of the writer, it's not because of the publisher, it's because of the bookseller, Barnes & Noble. They're starting to put stickers on their books like Borders did. It's starting to piss me off. Okay, let's get off of that rant for a second. So what is this book about besides, a King Arthur tale? There was a bit of we get to meet our first character. Let's see, his name is Cullum. Collum. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Cullum. He's a 17-year-old from the Isle of Mull, and he is on a quest to meet his hero, King Arthur, and the Knights of the Round Table. Now, I just wanted to read this little one sentence about Cullum because it gives us a good frame of reference for the writing style of Lev Grossman, which I love. I mean, I was learning a lot. As a writer, a lot of times I sort of will continue and love books and love writers and collect writers where when I'm reading, I'm learning how to be a better writer, if that makes sense. But anyway, I just love the way he describes Cullum here. Without his horse and armor, Cullum was nobody and nothing, an orphan and a bastard, poor as a church mouse and very far from home. And he could never go back. He'd made damn sure of that, hadn't he? Well, because in the scene, so that sets us up for who Cullum is. He's a bastard, he's wandering, he can't go back home, and he's done something in the very opening scene here that he probably shouldn't have done. He has the book starts off with a ill-fated duel that he fights a guy on his way to Camelot, and it doesn't turn out the most spectacular. But anyway, and it's not heroic. It's not like the stories that he's been told and all of this. It is really a good opening scene. But we get a sense of who Cullum is. He's a young guy. He's a bastard. He's got a little bit of Philippe the Mouse in him from, that character, the Matthew Broderick character from Ladyhawke. Although, Matthew Broderick in Ladyhawke was more of like a mousy mouse kind of a character. But he had a wit, a sense of humor about him. That's kind of what this guy's got here. However, Cullum is a large knight, is he. And there's a lot of that colloquial kind of like medieval type language in this, which I love. A large knight was he. And he meets a woman in an inn. And their banter back and forth is delightful. Right after this duel happens, he meets this woman in an inn. And this woman in this inn is sort of like a medieval cryptic type of woman who kind of predicts his future. And during this whole scene, the duel, the descriptions of Cullum, he enters this inn and meets this woman. Throughout the first couple of chapters, I just know I'm in the hands of a masterful writer. Lev Grossman just knocks it out of the park with this. I compare it to like kind of Jay Kristoff mixed with Bernard Cornwell, mixed with the movie Ladyhawke, mixed with all the King Arthur tales you've ever heard. That's kind of the way, because Jay Kristoff has a very unique style of writing. Now, I don't know if Lev Grossman's really pushing the uniqueness as far as Jay Kristoff does, but he certainly got an engaging style of writing that I really, really love. His prose is lovingly lyrical. There's a 3-page description of Camelot, the castle, the surrounding countryside, just as this Cullum guy is riding up to this place that he's dreamed of getting to his whole life. It's so great. But once he gets there, and I'm not going to give spoilers away, I'm only going to talk about things that are on the jacket copy. Once he gets there, King Arthur is dead and gone. The only thing that's left are not remains, but a skeleton motley crew of the Knights of the Round Table. Most of those guys have been killed, and the only people left are kind of like the oddballs of the Knights of the Round Table. Cullum is too late to meet his hero and his heroes. The only survivors of the Knights of the Round Table, like I said, they're not like the cream of the crop knights. They're the oddballs, like Sir Polam, and I'm going to mess up a lot of these names. Sir Palomides, who's the Saracen. Sir Dagonet, who was Arthur's fool, who Arthur knighted just as a joke. Now he's on the Knights of the Round Table. Sir Bedivere, who was a very handsome knight who was actually in love with King Arthur, like like he was romantically in love with King Arthur. There's Nimue. I don't know how to. Nimue is one of the characters that shows up in all the King Arthur retellings. Nimue. I don't know how to spell that. Well, I just spelt it, so I know how to spell it. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to pronounce it. We'll edit some of that out. Anyway, Nimue is a female. She's Arthur's apprentice who betrays him. Not a spoiler. Anyway, but then we get the story of these oddball knights as they go on a quest, sort of to rebuild Camelot, to find Excalibur. These reject knights are trying to rebuild the Knights of the Round Table and everything that Arthur stood for in a world that's quite frankly turned upside down because of Arthur's death. Now we do get a lot of flashbacks, which I enjoyed. I wasn't expecting it. We get a lot of flashbacks to King Arthur's real life. These flashbacks, by the way, are expertly interwoven into the story. I am not a huge fan of a third of a book being flashbacks to previous events, but the way that Lev Grossman does it, it's expertly done. In these flashbacks, of course, we get all of the iconic King Arthur scenes, the pulling of the sword out of the stone, the forming of Camelot and the Round Table, the Holy Grail quests, and yada yada. All of the things that King Arthur did, we get kind of as this surviving band of Round Table knights, these oddball characters sort of relive their experiences with Arthur. So Cullum, our main character, Cullum the bastard, can kind of be like, oh yeah, I heard all those stories. Yay, it's good to retell them and things like this. But as these oddball ragtag group of knights try to rebuild Britain in Arthur's image. You know, it seems like even the gods have abandoned them in this quest. Only the fairies, you know, and old gods and the legends that are not the most awesome are kind of still there to just poke sticks at them, and, including Morgan Le Fay, who is another one of the characters that's, and you know, and a whole thing with her. Um, so that's kind of it. They this book is just literally a retelling of the King Arthur story from the perspective of these oddball knights that are left at the round table with no leader. And the story comes complete with all the Arthurian legends. It's told in a very lyrical style. You feel like you're in a medieval setting throughout. Although I will say there's a little bit of modern language tossed in once in a while. But the book comes complete with duels and quests and tournaments and battles and magic swords and fisher kings and Avalon and ladies of the lake and all of that stuff. It's all present in The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman. A pleasant surprise, a pleasant surprise. I'm probably going to go ahead and purchase this month his other trilogy, the Magician's Trilogy. And then he's got kind of a Da Vinci Code thriller called Codex, which I'm probably going to get to because I really like the way this guy writes. And I know the Magician Trilogy was turned into a TV show, but I haven't seen even 1/2 second of that, or even read one word of the Magician books. But anyway, The Bright Sword, oh my God, that was a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend it if you want to just read a big, epic 800-page book about King Arthur. It's absolutely dope in all the dopest ways.